Despite his concerns about Justin Trudeau's penchant for donning blackface and brownface, NDP Leader Jagmeet Singh is not ruling out the possibility of working with Justin Trudeau in a coalition government if that's the situation Canadians find themselves in after the October 21st election. Mr. Singh told me this at a town hall meeting in Burnaby, British Columbia. He had fielded a couple of questions about the blackface controversy, in particular a phone conversation he had had earlier in the day with Justin Trudeau, the contents of which he wouldn't disclose because, in his words, he didn't want to become a prop in pursuit of redemption for Justin Trudeau. But I asked him the question. Take a look.
Andrew Lawton from True North. Mr. Singh, I know that you're obviously gunning for an NDP majority, but in the event of an NDP minority or a Liberal minority, could you serve in a coalition government with Justin Trudeau, having seen the blackface and brownface photos?
I appreciate the question, and I don't want to avoid answering it, but you have to understand that I'm running to become Prime Minister, so I can't... Thank you. So I can't accept the premise that I wouldn't be Prime Minister, but I can still answer your question. In the case that I'm a Prime Minister, but in a minority government where I'm Prime Minister, same idea. I would work with whoever wants to work with me to implement universal pharmacare, housing investments, fighting climate crisis. So I would work with.
Is that saying that the photos wouldn't have an impact if you had shared priorities with anyone in that situation?
Yeah, I mean, it has an impact. It's had an impact. I've only ruled out one party that I wouldn't work with because of the lack of shared values. I guess that's maybe two of the parties, because I said clearly I wouldn't work with the Conservatives. And I don't think this needs to be said, but I certainly wouldn't work with the PPC. But yeah, as difficult as it is, I've left open the door to working with other leaders who want to work with me to implement the changes that will help people out.
Now, I appreciate that Mr. Singh doesn't want to entertain a scenario in which he isn't the Prime Minister, which is why I asked that follow-up question. But he's saying, look, his focus is going to be on working with people who share his priorities. He's not going to let this be a deal breaker. Now, you may agree or disagree with this position, but I must say it's refreshing to hear a direct answer, and more importantly, it's refreshing for a journalist to be able to ask the question so directly, especially after several days of being stonewalled by the Liberal campaign media team every single day. You may have followed this. I've been barred from accessing Liberal campaign media events. I've been barred from Justin Trudeau's press conference. I've been told I'm not an accredited member of the media, but been given no process by which I can become accredited. Whereas at the NDP event, for example, which was taking place in the city I already was in, I just walked in, registered, told the press secretary who I was, and he said, if you're here to report, you're welcome here. And that's exactly what I did. Now, this is a night and day comparison, the Liberal team and the NDP team. The Liberals want to shield their leader from any potential criticism, whereas the NDP team says, yeah, if you're coming and you're prepared to ask a question and do it in good faith, you are welcome here. And there's something to this that is very revealing, which is that the NDP is a lot more confident in its leader than the Liberals are. Now, we've seen what happens when Justin Trudeau goes off script. We've seen him stammer and stumble around his words. At the same time, he's also been the Prime Minister for 4 years, which makes you wonder why it is so difficult to imagine that he might be able to field a tough question here and there. Whereas for Jagmeet Singh, he for 1 hour took unscripted questions from the audience on subjects ranging from climate change to pharmacare, and then he took questions from media. Not just the Ottawa national media that were following around on the bus, but media that just showed up to cover the event like I did. And it was a refreshing turn of events because it's proof that there are still politicians in Canada, even if you have some ideological disagreements with them, that understand the role of the media and understand that they don't get anywhere by blocking the people that are supposed to hold them to account from covering the events where they're laying out their plan for Canada. Kudos to the NDP for a strategy that is working, and more importantly, for being as forthright about their plan as they are. From Thunder Bay, Ontario, for True North, I'm Andrew Lawton.